Hi everyone and good day. This is Joyce.
This is Carmel.
Today, we will be doing an on-screen analysis of the Scarlet letter. Are you excited, Carm?
Yes, of course, Joyce. I can't wait to start.
Okay, but before we proceed, let me first give a short background of the Scarlet letter so that our listeners will have an idea about this piece of literature. The Scarlet Letter is actually a novel written by Nathaniel Hawthorne in the 1950s. One of its themes is adultery, where thus the story revolves around the lives of two characters that had an affair, Hester and a minister named Mr. Dimmesdale, which later gave birth to a child named Pearl, born out of the forbidden relationship they had. Later on, we will know why it's entitled The Scarlet Letter. For now, Carmel will introduce to us which portion of the novel is subject to our analysis today. She will also tell us why the text or portion has been chosen.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Joyce. So for today's video, our on-screen analysis will focus on one passage of the novel, found in Chapter 12, The Minister's Vigil, pages 125 to 126. We have chosen this portion of the novel because it is a significant part that leads to the highest point in that chapter, which is also one of the highest peaks of the entire novel. Moreover, it's a turning point in the story where intense emotions are felt as the three characters, Hester, Pearl, and Mr. Dimmesdale, come together in a meaningful encounter that they have never experienced before. To know more, let us look into this passage.
That's right, Carm. To add to that, this portion is composed of 20 sentences with 326 words. At first glance, what have you noticed in the text?
Well, Joyce, anyone who would look at the text would first notice its structure and form, and I can see that this text from the Scarlet Letter seems to be composed of dialogues in a narrative form.
Exactly! That's why we will first examine its graphological features.
So, can you tell us the graphological features present in this text, Joyce?
Yes, Carm. Have you noticed? There seems to be a number of punctuation marks present in this text.
Oh, I see. There are commas, hyphens, exclamation marks. What else?
Well, if you look closely, there are significant punctuation marks used notably in the text. Most of the sentences in dialogues are Pearl's questions to the minister, which is a very evident use of question mark in the text. Semicolon can be observed as well. It is used in this novel to present and separate ideas in long sentences.
Speaking of sentences, Joyce, I've observed that most sentences here, except in the dialogue, are quite long.
Yes, Carm. In fact, because of that and the way the dialogue is being presented, their conversation is given much prominence in the text.
I agree, Joyce. Much of our attention are caught in the dialogue because each of the quoted sentences from their conversation is presented in a paragraph form as what you can see here in the screen right now based on its original form in the book.
Yes, the dialogue is indeed foregrounded in the text. There are also more visible marks we can see here. The em dash is used in the passage 3 times to present additional information that may not be that necessary for the sentence to be understood, yet it is useful to elaborate the whole thought. For example, sentences 11 and 18. Moreover, we can also observe the extensive use of exclamation mark in the dialogue, which serve to express strong feelings and convey intense emotions that are deeper than usual. The use of Old English like hither, thou, ye, wouldst, nay, wilt, and die is prominent in the text. The hyphenated tomorrow used here is an archaic word which means the next day and is equivalent to the unhyphenated form of tomorrow in our contemporary English.
Wow! We can really see a great deal of graphology even in this short passage. So how about other features, like the syntactical?
Okay, let's look at the text again. We can see that the usual structural types of the sentences here in this passage are compound and complex. Notice that there is only one simple sentence, sentence 7. It says here, the tree form an electric chain. Moreover, this passage also contains the 4 functional types of the sentence. The declarative sentence is evident here as in sentence 5. The minister felt for the child's other hand and took it. Sentence 10 is an example of interrogative sentence found here. Wilt thou stand here with mother and me tomorrow noontide? The first sentence, come up hither, Hester, thou and little Pearl, is an imperative sentence. Lastly, the sentence, at the great judgment day, is an exclamatory.
Aside from that, we can observe other syntactical features in this text.
That's right, Carm. Referential cohesion, conjunctive cohesion, substitution, and ellipses are applied here in this text. In the sentence, the minister felt for the child's other hand and took it, instead of repeating the word hand, the author used the word it to refer to hand. This is called backward referencing. In the sentences 2 and 4, conjunctive cohesion is applied. She silently ascended the steps and stood on the platform holding little Pearl by the hand. Next, ye have both been here before, but I was not with you. Next to the sentence, the tree form an electric chain. The tree replaces Mr. Dimmesdale, Pearl, and Hester. Lastly, in the sentence, Pearl laughed and attempted to pull away her hand. The subject Pearl is ellipted in the second clause.
Now that we have analyzed the graphological and syntactical features of this text, let us now proceed and look into its phonological features or sounds.
Wow, sounds interesting. So, what sound patterns are present in this text?
Assonance and alliteration are sound patterns that we can see and hear in this passage. The phrases, ye have both been here before, and we will stand all three together from sentence 2 and 3 are examples of assonance found in this text, while sentence 4, she silently ascended the steps and stood on the platform, is obviously an alliteration.
How about rhyme?
Yes, of course. We can't just forget about rhyme, right? Although this is a novel, this text still contains rhyme within its sentences and paragraphs. For example, hither and Hester, little and Pearl in sentence 1. Then in the sentences, ye have both been here before, and we will stand all three together. Before and together rhyme, although it is imperfect. In sentence 6, heart and warmth rhyme within the sentence, and these sound effects add not only to their musicality, but also to their significance and meaning. Here and mother, in sentence 10, and there, which refer to judgment seat in the last part of this text, rhymes with together. It's also important to note that the word stand in Pearl's first question rhymes with the word hen in her second question.
Wow! Phonology still plays a big role even in novels. That sounds very amazing.
What's more amazing than that is the creativity of meaning making in literature. Let's uncover meanings in this text.
Oh, what an exciting task! I'm sure this text is very rich in lexicosemantic features.
Now, let's read the text again. Notice the words life, heart, veins, and vital warmth in sentence 6. What relationship do these words have?
I think they belong in one category.
Right. These words belong in one semantic field, and their relation helps us understand what the author is trying to convey in such a long sentence.
So, those words help achieve lexical cohesion, which made the sentence easier to comprehend.
Indeed, the words judgment day and judgment seat also belong to one semantic field, especially in the religious context of Christianity. It connotes trial in the heavenly court. Moreover, the archaic type of word is evident in this passage. Words such as hither, thou, wouldst, thy, wilt, ye, and may reflects a pattern of Old English that could be considered as the style of their time or period in the 1950s when this work was written. Compound words are also used in this passage, such as platform, half-torpid, noontide, judgment seat, and daylight. The usage of the words then and there is also a referential to emphasize that it points to the location before the judgment seat.
Figurative language and imagery also plays a great part in meaning making.
That's correct. In this passage, figures of speech are used to convey different meanings. For example, the tree formed an electric chain is a metaphor that describes the sparkling connection of the three characters. The daylight of this world shall not see our meeting is a personification that conveys that people in this world shall not see them together. Back to sentence 6 is an imagery that incorporates figurative language to show how the mother and the child invigorates Mr. Dimmesdale.
If we just read this passage deeply, we can understand how words are used to convey meaningful messages.
That's true. Analyzing a text in the lexicosemantic is such a rewarding endeavor. To continue, still in sentence 6, the words half-torpid system is also an imagery that connotes a dying body or soul. The minister's answers to Pearl's inquiries, one another day, and another time, connotes a time in the future that is beyond our world today, such as the judgment day in the court of heaven. Lastly, the platform in this passage refers to the town scaffold where Hester was publicly examined. It's a symbolism of judgment, condemnation, shame, guilt, and sin.
What a wonderful analysis we've just had about this passage of the Scarlet Letter. We must always remember that in whatever we read, analyze, or encounter, we can find wisdom to understand everything if we ask God.
In James 1 verse 5, it says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you."
And before we end this analysis, we know that you are wondering why the title of this novel is Scarlet Letter. This is because the letter A, marked on our protagonist's chest, is a symbol of adultery, where anyone who commits this sin is obliged to wear prominently.
That's all for today's video. We hope you've learned a lot. Keep reading,
Keep learning. God bless.